myself. But in reality, what changed? What changed, right? So with Dawood,
AfriSoul presents Nickel Millionaire 2.0, where your dreams of becoming a millionaire can come true, not once, but twice. In the first 2 months, one lucky AfriSoul subscriber will win the cool $1 million. Another lucky winner will take home another $1 million just 2 months after that. But wait, there's more. We've got loads of cash prizes to be won every week. Simply buy a minimum of $10 in credit or data. So the more you buy, the better your chances of hitting the jackpot. Nickel Millionaire 2.0. Join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. live on GRTS. AfriSoul, creating millionaires, changing lives.
Welcome to the future of transportation in the Gambia. The Bertel Harding Highway, a 22-kilometer double carriageway, is set to revolutionize travel and connectivity in our beloved country. For pedestrians, safety begins at the crossing. Use designated pedestrian crossings marked with patterned reflective signs known as cat eyes to ensure visibility and safety. Communities living along the highway must adapt to new safety measures.
Hello and welcome to the Saturday Newsroom. We broadcasting from studios here in Kanifing along the OIC Road. I am Maria Madam and many thanks for joining us coming up. Star FM and TV and the Sport Journalists Association united to support the family of the late Modu Lamin Sanyang of Star FM. The National Assembly Standing Committee on Human Rights raises concerns over proposed changes to the Interpretation Amendment Bill 2023. And Gaj's nationwide Ramadan Funny competition inspires you to read generous rule. The Consumer Protection Consortium and stakeholders observes World Consumer Rights Day. And the Sports Journalists Association trains 20 sports journalists on financial reporting and budget analysis. On international news, thousands of Congolese children separated from parents as they flee to Burundi. And Gaza community kitchens forced to close due to Israeli aid blockade. China expands visa-free travel to boost tourism and foreign investment. Those were the headlines and our news in detail. Many thanks for joining us. Let's now take a look at the news in detail. Now, in a demonstration of solidarity and compassion, Star FM and TV have united with the Sports Journalists Association of the Gambia and media colleagues to provide financial support for the family of the late Modu Lamin Sanyang, who passed away in the line of duty almost a fortnight ago. The Sport Journalists Association members and other journalists congregated at the family compound of their fallen comrade at Kunkujang, Jataya on Sunday. Baikur reports.
Star FM and TV management, Sport Journalists Association of the Gambia, and other journalists congregated at the family compound of their fallen comrade at Kunkujang, Jataya. Representatives of the media fraternity came together to present more than $100,000 to Sanyang's grieving family. This generous contribution aims to provide support to the family during this challenging time and to recognize and honor that Sanyang made to the Gambia media landscape. The media fraternity gesture underscores the importance of unity and compassion in the face of tragedy, serving as a reminder of the vital role that community support plays in healing and resilience building. Managing Director, Star FM and TV, Kausubaji, said the support is for the family.
dama bëgg a use opportunity bi nii ne support bi is for the family but maa ngi call on all stakeholders, all partners for us to support.
The support is for the family. I am calling on all partners and stakeholders to support fencing the compound of the late Molamin Sanyang.
Mu nekk li nga xamante ne moom mooy lu metti.
The late Modulamin Sanyang was not only a dedicated employee of Star FM and TV, but also a passionate journalist known for his commitment to support, coverage and unwavering support for local athletes. His ultimately passing has left a significant void in the hearts of his colleagues and the wider community. Keba Sanyang, the father of late Modlamin Sanyang, thanked Allah for blessing him with Modlamin and taking him.
Intele awulu pare alala adinna karafoti wala ala karafonyinta aya murundi atekai.
I am his father. It was Allah who gave me Modulamin. He is the one who took him back. I thank Allah because all of the good words that I heard from various speakers are very pleasing.
The event was characterized with poignant tributes, with speakers reflecting on Sanyang's professional achievements, his warm spirit, and the positive impact he had on those around him. The emotional gathering served as a reminder of the strong bond within the media community and highlighted the importance of coming together to support one another in times of grief. Sport Journalists Association of the Gambia President Omar Jaju encouraged the family of the late Modlamin Sanyang to bear the loss.
Ak njaboot yàlla gën leen a may xolu muñ parce que lii dafa métti waaye lu MS wax rek lañu daldi digal mooy ML yàlla moo ñu ko gën a soxla métti na waaye il faut ñu nangu ko.
I am encouraging the family to take heart. It is painful. It is Allah who wants the disease more than us. I am thanking his neighbors, his former co-workers Saliu Jallo of Capital FM and Parfati of LSTV, who also contributed in making the day possible.
Families and colleagues share memories and stories of Sanyang's life. The atmosphere was both somber and radiating with love. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Baikor.
The National Assembly Standing Committee on Human Rights and Constitutional Matters presented its report on the Interpretation Amendment Bill 2023, expressing significant concerns regarding the proposed amendments aimed at enhancing the legislature's oversight on the subsidiary legislation. More in this report. In a recent session before the National Assembly, the Standing Committee on Human Rights and Constitutional Matters, headed by Honorable Madi Sise, submitted its report on the Interpretation Amendment Bill 2023, which seeks to amend the Interpretation Act to strengthen the legislature's role in scrutinizing subsidiary legislation. The bill aims to grant the National Assembly explicit authority to review delegated law-making powers, fostering accountability in the executive's exercise of these powers. According to Standing Order 69, the committee's mandate includes listing witnesses, recording opinions on each clause of the bill, and presenting a comprehensive report that summarizes evidence and recommendations. According to the committee, during its review, they engaged in extensive consultations with stakeholders, examined position papers, and held validation meetings to refine its findings. The committee says its members have meticulously analyzed the bill clause by clause with a focus on the importance of ensuring that the bill aligns with the 1997 Constitution of the Gambia and other existing laws.
The committee relied on testimonies of witnesses to review the bill, clause by clause, and taking due notice of any input aimed at adding value to the content of the bill. Cross-references were also made to ensure that the content of the bill was brought in conformity with the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia and other laws.
In its findings, the committee expressed support for the bill's objectives, but raised significant concerns regarding specific amendments, particularly Clause 11A. The committee recommended that these clauses not be included in the bill, citing several justifications. The proposed changes could undermine the principle of delegated authority, as the Assembly has already entrusted regulatory powers to ministers who are better equipped to handle complex technical matters. The amendments could overload the National Assembly, potentially leading to delays in legislative functions due to a lack of specialized expertise among its members.
The opinion of the committee on the object and reasons. It is proposed that the objects and reasons as presented by the mover during the second reading be adopted to stand as part of the bill in the consideration stage. The short title. The committee proposed that this section not to stand as part of the bill as proposed. The amendment of clause 11A. The committee proposed that this section does not stand part of the bill as proposed with the following justifications. 1. The proposed changes could undermine the principles of delegated authority as the Assembly already in the primary legislation delegates specific regulatory powers to ministers. Further, this delegation is based on the understanding that ministers often advised by experts, civil servants are better positioned to address the complex and technical matters.
On accountability issues, the Standing Committee on Human Rights of the Assembly believed that shifting regulatory rules to the National Assembly may blur lines of accountability and invite constitutional challenges and could also hinder ministers' ability to respond quickly to emerging issues, defeating the purpose of timely governance. The Standing Committee on Human Rights and Constitutional Matters ultimately recommended maintaining the current framework where subsidiary legislation is regulated by the executive with judicial review as necessary.
The Assembly bypasses the minister's authority to regulate. It undermines the primary legislation intent, creating confusion around the separation of powers and potentially setting a precedent that weakens established legal frameworks. Honorable Speaker, the proposed changes would put a strain on the Assembly, and this could potentially lead to delays in legislative functions due to lack of specialized expertise which the ministers and their departments have on the implementation and regulation of the primary legislation. 3. The accountability issue may arise if the National Assembly assumes the regulatory roles intended for ministers.
The report also included positions from the General Legal Counsel and the Ministry of Justice, both of which opposed the proposed amendments. According to the report, the General Legal Counsel argued that the current system effectively delegates regulatory powers to ministers who possess the necessary expertise, while the Minister of Justice highlighted that these may overburden the National Assembly amid existing legislative backlogs. Following the submission of the report by the Standing Committee on Human Rights and Constitutional Matters for consideration and adoption by the Assembly, several lawmakers weighed on the implications of the proposed amendments.
Really well thought, and it's also a legal job. So therefore, Honorable Speaker, I think we are in safe hands, having passed legislation here. We also now allow for the smooth operation or for the smooth operationalization of the legislation, the powers conferred to ministers to make sure that to do a regulation so that the applicability and also the ease of implementation could be.
Looking at this report, it has highlighted salient points that talks about capacitizing the issues of regulations. And I believe it will not work further without those elements. One, if you look at the National Assembly and its functions and rules, looking at the scrutinization of some of these regulations, it needs resource base. Now, when the resources are not available, it becomes a burden. And looking at the experts in what we are to do in oversight functions and also taking the lead role in accountability, when and how soon do we work on some of those effects? I believe that we have a lot.
The committee's report was unanimously adopted, reflecting a commitment to ensuring effective governance while safeguarding the separation of powers within the Gambia's legislative framework. Maria Madem, reporting for Star TV News. The curtain has fallen on this year's $500,000 Ramadan Quranic competition, a remarkable nationwide initiative spearheaded by Dr. Abubakar Jawara, the CEO of Gash Global Group. The grand finale, held at Masjid Bilal Boarding School on Sunday, marked the culmination of a spiritually enriching and intellectually stimulating journey for participants across the Gambia. More in this report.
This annual competition, organized in memory of Dr. Jawara's late father, Bajeja, continues to inspire young Gambians by fostering a deeper connection with the Quran. The initiative stands as a testament to Gach's commitment to promoting Islamic education and empowering youth through the teachings of the Holy Book. Split into two categories, full Quran and half Quran. The competition rewarded exceptional recitation and memorization skills. Winners in the full Quran category received cash prize as follows. First prize, $75,000. Second prize, $50,000. Third prize, $30,000. In the half Quran category, participants were awarded first prize, $40,000. Second prize, $30,000. Third prize, $20,000. The event, coordinated by Lamin Jagana, was met with widespread praises for its seamless organization and the positive impact it has on the youth. Lamin Jagana thanked Abubakar Jawara for such initiative, highlighting of the journey and history of the competition.
The journey was started at 8 February from Badibu, which was held in Kerawan, spent 2 days to 3 days there, continued the journey to Makati, from Makati to Basse URR, from Basse URR to Soma, Mansakonko, and then West Coast region was the huge amount of contestants that attended the Quran competition. In West Coast, we nearly received up to 100 this year, when last year was 160 something. And we concluded the program in Majlis Al-A'la in Kanifin, which were 40 contestants who attended the program. And yesterday, the final round was held in Bilal Dakhiliya Yundum, which there were 17 candidates who goes for the final round.
Baesa Jawara, the proprietor of Masjid Bilal Boarding School, expressed delight and commended Abubakar Jawara for his effort in supporting communities. He prayed for his long life and good health. Participants expressed gratitude for the platform, highlighting its role in encouraging the study and memorizing of the Quran. Dr. Abubakar Jawara, through this initiative, not only honors his father's legacy, but also empowers a new generation to embrace spiritual knowledge and moral values. As the competition continues to grow in prominence, its enduring impact on Islamic education and community development remains a source of inspiration across the nation. For Star TV News, this is Maimuna Jaju.
The Consumer Protection Alliance has recently joined other stakeholders in commemorating the World Consumer Rights Day. Observed annually on March 15, Consumer Rights Day is set aside to raise public awareness of consumer rights protection. Details in this report.
Consumer Protection Consortium, a non-governmental organization, recently combined forces with the Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection GCCPC, the Gambia Standards Bureau, and the Public Utility and Regulation Authority (PURA) to commemorate the World Consumer Rights Day. This year's commemoration was held under the theme Transition to a Sustainable Lifestyle, Responsibilities. Alaji Sambu, the Director of Consumer Protection at GCCPC, urge citizens to work together towards a greener and healthier world.
As we mark this very important day, which is the World Consumer Rights Day, the GCCPC call on all citizens to join the globe by adopting more sustainable consumer behaviors that we can create a greener, healthier, and more just world for all. To commemorate this day, GCCPC emphasized the importance of a clear and friendly, readily available redress mechanism for all consumers that may be aggrieved of their actions.
As to ACC, a representative from the Gambia Standards Bureau outlined the Bureau's responsibilities.
Greenhouse gases, consumer protection, fair trade, and quality of good service all rest in the fundamental pillars of standards. Standards are defined what constitute a high-quality product, creating consistent benchmark for the benefit of the both businesses and consumers. They build trust, ensure reliability, and simple for decision-making. Furthermore, standards promote fairness and also prevent fraud, transparency, and also provide fair and competition inclusive of sustainability. Ensuring a responsible and secure marketplace, they are essential for enabling individuals and business to embrace sustainable practice while preserving the environment.
Mr. Alpha Jallo, president of the Consumer Protection Consortium, highlighted the primary objectives of this celebration.
There are primary objectives of this celebration. First is, this day is being celebrated globally to raise awareness among consumers in the Gambia about their rights and responsibilities, especially in relation to sustainable consumption. Secondly, it is to highlight the role of sustainable lifestyles in consumer protection and how they can contribute to a more equitable and environmentally friendly future. Thirdly, it is to engage key stakeholders, including government, businesses, civil society, organizations, and consumers in a dialogue on how to transition to a sustainable lifestyle.
Furthermore, the Consumer Rights Day commemoration served as an extreme vital gathering to foster collaboration among government agencies, civil society organizations, and all stakeholders to engage in dialogue on how to transition to a sustainable lifestyle. For Star TV, this is Omar Diop.
Now, the Sports Journalists Association of the Gambia organized an intensive two-day capacity building training for 20 sports journalists on financial reporting and budget analysis. The training was held at the Nana Conference Hall in Kanifing. The training was designed to equip the participants with the requisite tools to navigate and critically report on the financial complexities of the sports industry. More in this report by Omar Diop.
The two-day training, supported by the Ministry of Youth and Sports, underscores SJAG's commitment to fostering professionalism and accountability in sports reporting. The program's opening ceremony was attended by prominent figures from the Gambian media and sports sector, highlighting the significance of this intervention. In his address, Omar Jayo, the president of SJAG, emphasized the vital role financial literacy plays in sports journalism. He stressed that equipping sports journalists with financial literacy not only enhances the quality of reporting, but also contributes to transparency within the sports industry.
We go to AGMs, an accountant will give his financial report or her financial report or statement. But do we understand what the individual says? Because we owe it to the public to inform them adequately and very, very clearly of what transpires at AGMs and congresses. So as journalists, we need to understand the financial terminologies. We need to understand how do we talk to our people about Omar Jajo, who stands at an AGM or a Congress, and talk about the expenses, and talk about the deficits, and talk about everything that has to do with finances. A lot of AGMs have passed, a lot of Congresses have passed. We just report or talk about statements by the secretaries or by the presidents. Maybe we can, sometimes what we do is talk briefly about $60 million have been spent on table preparation or decoration.
In his remark, Bakari Waibaji, the Minister of Youth and Sports, lauded SJAG for spearheading such an impactful initiative. He expressed optimism that the training will empower participants to produce analytic reports that scrutinize budgets, uncover discrepancies, and shine a light on financial health of sports organizations.
Of course, we also know that we have, as people here, we have limitations in our reporting capacities. We have limitations in our ability to do analytical stories. And so the trainings would help. So it's good that the Sport Journalists Association new leadership is taking that on board and working towards improving not just themselves as executive members, but the membership by extension. And today you're looking at financial reporting and budget analysis. And from the expectations of the people here, it tells us that there is so much interest in it. And for me, it's good because one of the key issues here is about accusations of people, then like a Halisby, then such a Halisby. And, you know, and sometimes we don't base it on anything. It's just assumption that somebody said, oh, they had so much money they spent. But sport is so much expensive that if you are not in the administrative side, you tend to hear figures and you think, oh, you know, this cannot be possible. Why would they spend this much money? But this training, I hope, will be able to help the 20 of you that are here to be able to be ambassadors, not to defend any association or a government entity or whatsoever, but to be able to take the time to read reports and do analytical reports, stories, that if anybody gets to read, would help the person or the people to understand better.
Former SJAG President Musa Sisi and the GPU President Aissatou Keita expressed similar sentiments, acknowledging the pivotal role of financial knowledge in elevating the credibility and depth of sport journalism.
So here we are today in trying to discover something new that I want to believe that not most of us are au fait with, finance. And of course, I mean, what do we do with it? I mean, to me, I just want to applaud the new executive, Omar and his team, for thinking in a different sphere in making so that at least when we talk about numbers, because most of the time we talk about numbers and we don't understand them because we just understand the basics. But probably these kind of trainings will help us, equip us. And of course, when you talk about it next time, you are able to go to the next level and educate the public that are very much interested in what you have to say. So for me, it's just a very good.
And I am very, very proud of Omar Jaju and the executive for the fact that they've brought in this training on an area that is often overlooked, but it is very fundamental, especially when it comes to aspect of ensuring transparency and also ensuring effective sports governance. We talk about sports on a daily basis, we report on it, but also in the aspect of finances, it becomes a very crucial aspect. We often don't even look at that aspect. We only look at the pitches and then off the field and all of those things. So I think this is a very, very good move, and it is something that is worth to be very, very commended. At the Gambia Press Union, we always push and talk about the issue of capacity building, because we can't do without capacity building, especially for the fact that the media landscape is evolving on a daily basis, but we also need to change as things are changing to get ourselves acquainted with everything that we are doing on a daily basis. We don't just report the story, we go beyond the story. But how can we get beyond the story? By getting ourselves acquainted and then capacitized in most of these areas. So I think this is something that we all should actually not just sit here and listen, but then be able to ensure that after this training, we are able to report as expected of us. It might be difficult, it might be challenging, but let's try to be people that will be able to change the narrative.
Participants delve into a range of topics, including budget analysis, identifying financial irregularities, and reporting on funding within sports organizations, preparing journalists to address the financial dimensions of sports with confidence and clarity. The two-day training program is expected to have profound impact not only in enhancing the journalistic landscape but also driving transparency and accountability in the Gambia sports sector. For Star TV, this is Omar Job.
From the story, we'll take a short commercial break, and when we return, the news continues. Stay tuned.
It's time to break free from data limitations. We've just reduced the cost of our data bundles by up to 60%.
Simply dial *120# to get going. Use AfriCell now and enjoy the highest quality, fastest speed, and the most reliable network.
Welcome to the future of transportation in the Gambia. The Bertel Harding Highway, a 22-kilometer double carriageway, is set to revolutionize travel and connectivity in our beloved country. For pedestrians, safety begins at the crossing. Use designated pedestrian crossings marked with patterned reflective signs known as cat eyes to ensure visibility and safety. Communities living along the highway must adapt to new safety measures.
Welcome back after the short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching the Saturday Newsroom and broadcasting from a studio here in Kanifing. Let's now shift attention to some international news. Now, thousands of unaccompanied children are among those fleeing the violence in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo and crossing into Burundi. Many have told stories of being sexually abused or forced to work as porters by armed groups. Al Jazeera's Catherine So reports.
Sitting in a counseling room, this 16-year-old is traumatized. She and her siblings fled fighting in South Kivu province in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. They don't know where their parents are. Christian Kazungu helps such children reconnect with relatives. He says some have suffered emotional and physical abuses back home. He told us about a girl who had been raped. Such cases are not isolated.
The girl was at home. Men in uniform knocked on the door. They had guns. They raped her. Her parents came to save her, but they were shot. She says she regrets that she screamed for help. Maybe they would have been saved.
As the conflict between the Congolese army and M23 rebels continues on the other side of the border, more Congolese keep coming here.
Tens of thousands of people who have fled violence in the DRC have sought refuge in Burundi. More than half of them are women and children. Many of the youngsters were separated from their parents as they ran.
In another section of the camp, these mothers are in mourning. They say their children and other refugees drowned while trying to cross the Rusizi River that separates Burundi and DRC. Samia Wito watched 5 relatives get swept away by the current, including her pregnant aunt.
When we were in the water, those who were helping us cross saw what looked like a hippo. They abandoned us. We tried to save ourselves, but we were too many.
Mawazo Madom says she could not save her 2-year-old son.
Water was getting into the plastic pail, so we were holding on so we could float. My son could not withstand the current. I could not hold on to him.
Life is a struggle for everyone in this camp, but in this play area, the little ones try to forget. Here, they just want to be children again. Catherine Soy, Rugombo, Northwest Burundi.
Now, food charities that have been feeding thousands are being forced to close as Israel's complete blockade on Gaza continues. Those still able to operate are winding down services day by day as essentials like cooking gas, potable water and other items are no longer available, as Zera's Tariq Abu Azum reports.
For months, the people of Gaza have lived under siege, enduring cold, hunger and constant bombing. With border crossings sealed, the flow of food has slowed to a trickle. The markets are running out of the products and much of what little is available is now unaffordable. Community kitchens, once feeding thousands, are now fighting their own battle, one against time, scarcity and worsening starvation. This place was once a lifeline with food poured in to feed the displaced. Now it's a graveyard of empty shelves and silence rooms.
Community kitchens have been a lifeline for countless displaced families in Gaza, offering the only meal many receive in a day. But with border crossings sealed, the humanitarian situation have worsened dramatically. There is no food, no gas, no wood, nothing left to keep these kitchens running, as hunger tightens its grip on Gaza.
The hunger is no longer creeping, it's consuming, affecting the young, the old, all those displaced.
I used to rely on this simple community kitchen for food, but now even they are struggling to feed us. My children are crying at home from hunger, and I have nothing to give them. I can't afford to buy what we need. There's simply no way to survive.
The people of Gaza are asking only for the right to eat, to nourish their children, to survive another day. But as the kitchen closes, even that is slipping away. The border closures have not just blocked food, they have blocked survival. With every day passing, the siege tightens its grip, strangling the last means of sustenance for so many in Gaza. Tariq Abazoum, Al Jazeera, Deir al-Balah, Palestine.
China has announced new policies to attract more international business and travelers to the country. Foreign investment fell by more than 27% rather in the past year. The government aims to reverse this. Al Jazeera's Catherine Yu reports from Beijing, China.
This is for you.
Oh my God.
In a part of old Beijing, American tourists are enjoying traditional Chinese food on a breakfast tour of the city. This is our next one. They're taking advantage of a new policy that allows U.S. visitors transiting through the capital to stay visa-free for up to 10 days. The number of foreign visitors to China plummeted during the COVID-19 pandemic, and the government wants them back. This is our next one. We are seeing some increase because people are taking advantage of that policy. So it's definitely making travel much more easier. China is also offering 30-day visa-free entry to travelers from several European and Asian countries, including Germany and South Korea.
Beijing is eager to attract not only tourists but entrepreneurs and foreign investment. The message is clear. China is open for business.
In the past year, foreign direct investment declined by almost 30%. Investors deterred by harsh COVID-19 restrictions, as well as slowing economic growth and a national security campaign. A number of multinational companies scaled back China-based operations. Officials say reversing the trend is a priority.
If foreign investors seize favourable opportunities and invest strategically in China long term, they will share in new business opportunities generated by China's expanding market.
The government has opened up more industries for foreign investment, including education and medical care, and eased financial restrictions. But new tariffs imposed by the Trump administration pose a challenge.
Businesses, for that reason, are just worried about their own sector. There are things that will come out of left centre. So many companies that are waiting to come into China are going to be a little more cautious.
For tourists, at least, travelling to China is easier. 65 million visitors arrived in 2024, an increase of 80% on the year before, but still well short of a peak in 2019. But tour organisers say the trend is positive, a taste, they hope, of more to come. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
I'm afraid that story brings us to the end of this news bulletin, but before we go, a quick recap of our main headlines. StarFM and TV and the Sport Journalists Association united to support the family of the late Modu Lano's signing of StarFM. The National Assembly Standing Committee on Human Rights raises concerns over proposed changes to the Interpretation Amendment Bill 2023. And guides nationwide Ramadan Funny competition inspires you to read generous rule. The Consumer Protection Consortium and stakeholders observes World Consumer Rights Day. And the Sports Journalists Association trains 20 sports journalists on financial reporting and budget analysis. On international news, thousands of Congolese children separated from parents as they flee to Burundi, and Gaza community kitchens forced to close due to Israeli aid blockade. China expands visa-free travel to boost tourism and foreign investment. That's all we have here in this edition of the news. Do join us tomorrow for another bulletin. But in the meantime, do enjoy the rest of programs and have a wonderful night. Thanks for watching.
Ramadan is not like any other month in the year. This month is an opportunity liman to who? Li ahli